Jim Hatchett. I'm a painter here in Houston, Texas. It's tied in with the spontaneity of the moment. I approach the canvas with no preconceived idea of what the painting is going to be, and I just start making strokes from pure instinct. And that ends up looking very gestural and very splattery and drippy in some cases. It is quite a bit different from working at a smaller scale. If you work on an easel painting or perhaps working flat like this in front of you, it's generally a forearm and a wrist movement. But when you go to this kind of scale, it actually becomes sort of like choreography. It's to the point where your whole body movement becomes part of the stroke. It's just not a arm and forearm and wrist thing. It's almost like, well, fencing in a way, and very much related to choreography, like in dancing. You sort of dance the painting into existence. No, I wish I could. Just I have to feel really inspired at the time to jump into one of them. There are many days I wake up and just don't feel like doing it. In fact, I quite often meditate beforehand, or will go out to the running track and run a couple of miles before coming back and painting. And it's very much like a ritual in its spontaneity. I use a spoken mantra that I repeat over and over while in the lotus position. It's one that I was given by a man who came here to Houston to speak about meditation. One of the agreements in that process was I would never reveal what the mantra is or never say it out loud to anybody. There is an aspect that occurs in the process of spontaneity. Things begin to occur on the canvas that I didn't necessarily put there. The more the painting continues, the more there is a feeling of some other direction moving into the process of the painting. I don't know whether it's the subconscious, the quote-unquote universal mind, God, the spirit of de Kooning. I don't know what it is, but there is always an added element when the painting is finished that makes me wonder where it came from. They are always greater than the sum of the things that I put into it myself. So yes, there's a spiritual connection of some sort that goes on in the process. I quite often become so immersed in the process that several hours have gone by and it seems like 5 or 10 minutes. Generally, when I get on a roll in the studio and I feel like I'm in the groove, so to speak, I will skip meals. I'll just work right through a meal. Or normal quitting time occurs, I'll keep working into the night. I've learned over the years that that sort of creative impetus is not always there, and so when it is there and it's strong, I want to take advantage of it. I want to keep it rolling. I've painted, I guess, every way there is to paint. I've done very realistic things that might be considered photorealistic. I've done portraits of people. I've done sort of primitive, childlike artwork. For my money, this is the most exciting way to paint because you never know what it's going to be. All those other ways you know ahead of time. You know, if you're going to paint a tree, you need to make it look like a tree. You know, if you're going to do a sunset, you need a horizon line. All those things are given. So there's no real mystery in putting it all down. You try and make it as best you can, but the spontaneous approach is totally and completely different. You don't know yourself until it's done what amazing things will come out. You would definitely have to be a free spirit to take this approach. All the other approaches are quite a bit easier and you're not putting yourself on the line as much as you are in this way. So yeah, you'd have to be a free spirit to approach it that way. I can explain it exactly. The 12 years prior to me going back to real paint, using real paint, for 12 years I did paintings made from dirt. I started with a 1/4-inch Luan plywood base, spread glue with a brush, and then either sprinkled dirt or embedded gravel or rocks one at a time, along with sticks and other organic material. And so therefore for 12 years my palette was restricted to basically brown and gray, the color of dirt. Also, the process was almost anti-spontaneous. There was nothing spontaneous about it. Every rock was placed individually one at a time, or every area was done according to plan, and it was put together sort of patchwork across the surface until the surface was full. I firmly believe it was 12 years of working in a very unspontaneous manner and 12 years of my palette being restricted to brown and gray that caused the explosion into the spontaneity of painting, and also with the color, going wild with the color. You know, some of the first human-like species on this planet, before they developed a speaking language, they were still grunting at each other and making noises and pointing. Before they even evolved a spoken language, members of those groups felt compelled to get up and began to make images on the walls of the caves, whether it be a buffalo or a tiger or whatever. Someone in that group was compelled with a creative spirit, even before language. So it's, a lot of people think it's a cultural thing, that it came with the evolving of culture and higher culture, but it is one of the most primitive urges in the species.